You are welcome everyone to another video tutorial. Today we want to look at styling React using CSS. So the ways by which we style CSS are of three ways: inline styling, internal styling, and the external styling. So I'll be looking at each of these styling in this video. So let's start with the inline styling. To style an element with the inline attribute, the value must be a JavaScript object. I repeat, to style an element with the inline attribute, the value must be a JavaScript object. Since the inline CSS is written in a JavaScript object, okay, let's go and do that first before we go to the second verse. So here I'll go to my text.js. So let me remove everything in the text.js so I can start all over again. So this is my text.js. I don't have anything in the text.js for now. So let me go to the app.js and remove some of these components. So here I remove some of the props I passed to earlier. I save this, I go to the browser to check. Okay, so I just come here, I remove everything here, close this so that everything will become, I take away the CSS that I placed inside of it before. Okay, so I come here, where's my style, text 2, I take away the CSS here, save that, I go to text 2, and I take away these imports. So I want everything to go to the status quo. Okay, it has returned to the status quo. This was where we were before. Okay, so let's look at what do they call it, the inline styling. So if you want to use an inline styling, let's say I want to style this. This is text 2 components. For inline, you come inside the tags, that's the specific elements which you want to target, and you come here and put the keyword style. Then you open a curly brace. Now this curly brace, because inline CSS is an object, it's JavaScript object, like what we read earlier. You can see, to style an element with the inline attribute, the value must be what? A JavaScript object. That is the value, an object, and this is how you write object in JavaScript. And again, take note that since it's an object and we're dealing with what JavaScript here, you need to put another curly brace, because if you in JSX, if you want to represent a JavaScript in JSX, is it not a curly brace? That means if you want to add a JavaScript code into an HTML element, you want to put a curly brace, you will. So that's why I'm using double curly braces. The first curly brace tells you that this is a JavaScript object, while the second curly brace tells you that this that it is JSX that permits it. That's JavaScript. So here I'll come here. Let's want to change the color of this. So here I'll put the property color. Then I'll put a column and I'll put this. So what color should we change this to? Let me change this to color orange. Orange. So I'll save this. So let's go to the browser to see that. So you can see the color has been changed to orange. So you can put multiple styling in the inline. You can put a comma to separate the properties. You can come here and say, I want the font size. So you know, I don't just come here and say, let me just leave it for now. So you can be able to see that. Then the next thing I want to do again, show you, is since the inline CSS is written in JavaScript objects, properties with two names like background color, font size, font family, font weight must be written in a camel case syntax. So you know that there are some CSS property that has two words like background color, background size, background image, background position, font size, font family, font weight, and the rest. These are two words: background color, font size. In inline, we don't do what? We don't just put it like normal CSS. You don't do this. This is wrong in inline CSS and CSS. You get an error if you do this. So what you do, you follow the camel casing. So if I come here and say font size, So this is called camel casing. which you have done in JavaScript. So font size, I will come here and say I want this font size to be, let's say I want it to be big, for 5 rem. Sorry, 5 rem. If I should save this, you will notice that this will be very big. You can see this is text 2 components. The font size has been what made to be big or bigger than the other components. So you can change the background color. Background is one word, then color. So make sure you put a comma here to separate the properties. Background color, put a column. I'll say background color of blue or black. Let me use black. Okay, black. So I save that. You can see that the background color is there. So I can put a padding to the background color using inline CSS. What I'm doing, you're already familiar with that in your CSS class. I'll say padding as, let me say I want a padding of 20 pixels across board. 20 pixels. So you can see that for yourself, 20 pixels padding. So what we have just done is to do what is to use the inline styling, the inline functionality, the inline CSS styling in React. So I hope you get that inline styling. So let's look at another styling which we'll be using, which you're going to know about, is internal styling, and which you're familiar with internal styling from your HTML and CSS class. Internal styling, you can also create an object with styling information and refer to it in the style attributes. So let's create an internal styling. So I'll go to the first component, which is text.js. So to do that, inside this function here, I'll create my internal styling. So I'll say create internal styling. So here I'll just create an object. I'll call this internal. Let me just call it internal equal to, since it's a JavaScript object, that is the curly brace for objects. So here, what are the properties of you want to give to this text? I can come here and say I want this to have a color, a color of, let's say, white, a color of white. I want it to have a color of white. Okay, so break the comma since it's an object. I want it to have a background color, a background color of blue, a background color of blue, a padding of 20 pixels. These are some of the things I'm doing. And the font family, the font family of, let's say, Tahoma. Okay, let's say Tahoma. So this is internal styling. For you to use it, you have to reference the name of the internal styling, which is internal. It has to be referenced for it to be used here. So here I can come here and say h2. This is internal styling in React. So I want to use it in h2. So I'll come here and I'll put the tag, the keyword style, curly brace, because I'm object here. This curly brace here indicates that it's a JavaScript code, a JSX, because we've already used an object here. This curly brace is an object, so I don't need to come and put double curly braces. You only use that for inline styling. So here I'll come here and I'll make reference to this. I'll say internal. So that's what I would basically do, internal. So let me save this, then go to the browser. So you can see that on the browser. This is internal styling in React. So you see how that works. So this is how you use the internal styling and the inline styling. So let's look at the last one, which is external styling. So you can write your CSS styling in a separate file. Just save the file with the .css file extension and import it in your application. We've done external styling before, and I've shown you how to create external styling using we've talked about the global style sheet, the component style sheets, and the specific one, which is module. So we've done that before. So I have a text2.css file. I also have a style.module.css. So this is my text2.css. So I can to create here. I'll come here and put a class. I'll call this my. So here I can easily come here and say I want this to have a color of white. Sorry, a color of white, a background color. This one is external, so you don't need to put the camel case in here because this is external CSS. Background color of green, then a padding of 30 pixels. Okay, so font weight as bold. Okay, so I save this. The class name is my. So I'll go to my text2. For you to use this text2.css, you have to import it here, which I've shown you earlier in our previous class. So this will be import, because that is a component style sheet. So this will be like this text2.css, because they are also on the same folder here, components. So I'll come here and create another. I'll call this h3, and I'll say this is external style sheets or styling. External styling. Oh, that's how you spell it. External styling. Okay, so let's look at this external styling. Okay, so yeah, I'll put the class name here. I'll say class name as what, my. So I'll save this, because the external styling, I have a class name of .my here. I go to the browser to see that. You can see this is external styling. You see how we use external styling? So we have been able to use the three major styling in CSS, which are inline, internal, and external styling. So in our next class, we're going to look at the ternary operator and the dynamic styling so far, and conditional CSS classes and the rest. So let's stop here now. See you guys in the next class.